There is a country at the edge of the Baltic Sea where the amber washes ashore after winter storms. Ancient resin, millions of years old, surrendered by the sea like a small gift. This is Latvia, a sliver of northern Europe caught between forest and water, between the medieval and the modern, between a past it cannot forget and a future it is still learning to trust. From above, it looks almost entirely green. Roughly 50% of its land is covered in forest, birch and pine and spruce, stretching from the Lithuanian border in the south all the way to the Latvian-Estonian frontier in the north, interrupted only by rivers running dark with peat, by meadows pale and wide as breath, and by the capital, Riga, rising gold-inspired from the banks of the Daugava River like a city that knows it has seen everything and survived. Latvia is small, just under 65,000 square kilometers, and yet it holds within itself a density of history, of natural beauty, of quiet human endurance that few places on this continent can match. It is a country that does not announce itself, it does not dazzle or perform, it reveals itself slowly, in the silences between pine trees, in the warmth of a stranger's handshake, in the way a Latvian grandmother hands you a slice of dark rye bread without a word, as if the gesture itself is a complete sentence. This is the story of nearly 2 million people, 1.9 million to be more precise, who have chosen, generation after generation, to make their lives in one of Europe's most quietly extraordinary places. It is a story of endurance and song, of amber-colored evenings and frost-hardened winters, of a people who have been occupied, displaced, and diminished, and who have answered every wound with music. The Latvian day begins before the light does. In November, dawn arrives reluctantly, sometime after 8 in the morning, and the people have long since learned not to wait for it. They rise in the dark, pull on their layers, and step outside into air that carries the smell of wood smoke and wet earth. This is a country where the relationship with weather is not incidental to life. It is life. The seasons here do not merely change, they transform everything. They dictate what is grown, what is eaten, what is worn, when people gather and when they retreat indoors. Latvia has a population of just under 2 million, a number so modest it fits comfortably inside a single European city, and yet it inhabits a land the size of a small country stack of experiences. That smallness of population means that the social atmosphere is never anonymous in the way that large nations are. People are connected by no more than 2 or 3 degrees of separation. In Riga, a city of roughly 600,000, you might walk through the Art Nouveau quarter of Alberta Jela and encounter someone who knows someone you know. In the smaller towns of Vidzeme or Latgal, that circle closes even tighter. The morning routine in a Latvian town is unhurried but purposeful. There's the stop at a local Veikals, the neighborhood grocery, where the shopkeeper knows which bread you prefer. There is the nod exchanged between neighbors on the stairwell of a Soviet-era apartment block, a gesture that carries more warmth than words. There is the bus, punctual and efficient, carrying factory workers and school children and pensioners in the same shared silence. Life here does not require spectacle. It asks only for steadiness. And steadiness Latvia has in abundance. The Latvian home is a sanctuary. It is the center of social life in a way that perhaps surprises those who expect European northerners to be cold or distant. Latvians are not demonstrative with strangers, it's true. First meetings are measured, careful, rarely effusive, but cross the threshold of a Latvian home and something shifts entirely. You are met with the warmth of a place that takes hospitality seriously, even silently. There is a phrase used in Latvian kitchens and living rooms, vienmēr ir iespēja, which translates loosely as there is always a way, a quiet cultural philosophy that extends to the table. A guest arriving unannounced will find a place set, bread sliced, something warm brought to the stove. Food is produced not from abundance necessarily, but from the ingrained belief that a guest is a gift. Multi-generational living remains common, particularly outside Riga. Grandparents, vekvekaki, are not placed at the margins of family life. They are its center. The grandmother who preserves the summer's berries in late August, who teaches the grandchildren the old songs, who remembers the names of every neighbor for 3 generations. She is the keeper of the community's memory. This is not nostalgia. This is a living system of knowledge transfer that Latvian families understand intuitively, even when they can't quite articulate it. The social heart of many Latvian communities is not a pub or cafe, but something older. The Tautas Nams, the community hall. Found in almost every village and small town, these halls are where weddings happen, where dance rehearsals take place on Tuesday evenings, where the choir practices and the amateur theater group performs. They are the lungs of Latvian communal life, breathing in and out with the rhythms of the calendar. If Latvia has a single soul, it sings. The Latvian language, Latviešu valoda, is one of only 2 surviving Baltic languages alongside Lithuanian, and it is ancient in ways that linguists find remarkable. It has preserved features of Proto-Indo-European that have vanished from nearly every other modern language. To hear it spoken, flowing, musical, full of long vowels and gentle consonants, is to sense the deep time of this land. But it is song, above all else, that defines Latvian cultural identity. The tradition of dainas, short, ancient folk songs, often just 4 lines long, dense with imagery of nature, love, work, and fate, numbers in the millions. Latvians have collected over 1.5 million dainas over the centuries, and they are not museum pieces. They are sung at kitchen tables, at school concerts, at community gatherings, as naturally as breathing. Every 5 years, Latvia stages the Dziesmu un Deju Svetki, the Song and Dance Festival, a gathering that draws tens of thousands of singers, dancers, and musicians to Arga's Meža Parks Amphitheater. It is one of the largest choral events in the world, a sea of white-clad singers, 30,000 voices joined in harmony under an open sky. The festival was born in 1873, survived Soviet occupation, and in 1988 became something extraordinary. When Latvians gathered to sing not just folk songs, but national songs openly, defiantly, in what the world came to call the Dziedosha Revolucija, the singing revolution. A nation regained its voice, literally before it regained its independence. Midsummer's Eve Johnny is the year's most beloved celebration. On the night of the 23rd of June, Latvia lights fires across the countryside, weaves crowns of oak leaves and wildflowers, and stays awake until dawn, chasing the shortest night of the year. It is ancient, pagan, joyful, and entirely, unmistakably Latvian. Latvia's economic story is one of remarkable reinvention. For centuries, its people drew their living from the land and the sea, from the amber trade that gave the Baltic its ancient name, from timber felled in those vast forests, from flax grown in the low river valleys, from herring smoked and salted along the Kurzeme coast. Arga itself grew prosperous as a trading city of the Hanseatic League, its merchants loading ships with grain and furs bound for Northern Europe. The 20th century brought industrialization under Soviet rule. Factories in Arga producing textile machinery, railway cars, and electronics. The collapse of the USSR in 1991 dismantled much of that industrial base overnight, leaving Latvia to rebuild from almost nothing. What followed was painful and dramatic. The economy shrank by more than half in the early 1990s, and the population began the slow decline that continues today as people left for Western Europe in search of work. But Latvia rebuilt. Today, the service sector dominates. Finance, information technology, and logistics form the backbone of a modern economy that has grown steadily within the European Union, which Latvia joined in 2004. The country adopted the euro in 2014. Arga has emerged as a regional financial hub, home to a growing fintech sector. Latvia's GDP per capita has more than tripled since independence, though significant regional inequality persists. The gap between Arga and the rural east, particularly Latgale, remains the country's most pressing economic fault line. Timber and wood processing remain major export industries. The forests that cover nearly half the country are not merely scenic, they are, economic, and agriculture, though transformed, still roots many rural families to the land, growing potatoes, cereals, and dairy cattle in the quiet river valleys of Vidzeme. Latvian food is honest. It does not perform, it nourishes. The foundation of the Latvian table is rupģemēs, dark rye bread, dense and slightly sour, baked slowly and eaten in thick slices, spread with butter or layered with herring, or simply held in the hand like a small ceremony. Rye bread here is not a side dish. It is the center, the anchor, the thing that Latvians who move abroad say they miss most fiercely. It carries within it the taste of northern soil and northern winters and the baking hands of 3 generations. Skabanu zupa, sorrel soup, sharp and bright, made with garden greens, potatoes, and hard-boiled eggs, is the taste of late spring, when the first green things push through the still cold earth. Peleki zirni arspeki, gray peas with smoked bacon, is the taste of Johnny, the midsummer feast consumed by Latvians as naturally as breathing. Augsta gala, cold-pressed meat in aspic, appears at every Christmas table, its translucent amber surface holding within it scraps of pork and root vegetables, trembling softly when the platter is set down. For dessert, there is sklendrausis, a rye pastry from the Kurzeme region, filled with carrot and potato and sweetened with honey, its edges pleated like a small crown. It has protected geographical indication status in the European Union, which is a formal way of saying it belongs to a particular place and a particular people. The preserving season, late summer and early autumn, is a domestic institution. Kitchens across Latvia fill with the smell of ieverģums, fruit jam simmered slowly in wide-bottomed pots, with pickled cucumbers sealed in jars that will see out the winter lined up in cool cellars. This is not homesteading as a lifestyle choice, it is memory passed through the hands. Latvians drink teja, tea, throughout the day, often herbal, often from garden-dried chamomile or peppermint or linden blossom. But the truly social drink is kafija, coffee, strong and black, consumed slowly, accompanied by conversation that has nowhere urgent to be. Landscape and nature. Stand at the edge of Jurmala's beach in January, when the Baltic is gray and the dunes are dusted with snow and the light comes low and amber from the west, and you will understand something about Latvia that cannot be explained any other way. This land is beautiful in a way that asks something of you. It asks you to be still. It asks you to pay attention. The coastline stretches for nearly 500 kilometers, white sand beaches backed by fragrant pine forests, dunes that shift and creak, the sea flat and pewter-colored for months on end. Inland, the Gauja National Park, Latvia's oldest and largest protected natural area, cuts through forested sandstone cliffs and deep river valleys in the Vidzeme region, a landscape that feels geological and ancient, where the Gauja River winds between rust-red rock faces worn smooth by time. Further east, Lake Razna in Latgale gleams among forests and fields, the largest lake in the country by volume, its shores quiet and largely undeveloped. The relationship between Latvians and the outdoors is not recreational in the weekend hobby sense. It is constitutional. Mushroom picking in autumn is practically a national sport. Families fanning out through forest paths with baskets, reading the earth for boravikas, porcini, and gailines, chanterelles, the yellow-gold mushroom that colors Latvian autumn cuisine. Foraging here is a serious skill, passed from parent to child over decades of October mornings. The forests themselves carry the labor of generations, managed, tended, harvested, replanted, a human inscription on the natural world that represents not exploitation, but a long and serious conversation between people and land. Latvia is more connected than its quiet reputation suggests. A modern highway network, the Via Baltica, running north from the Lithuanian border through Arga toward Tallinn, links the country efficiently to its Baltic neighbors and to the wider European road system. Arga International Airport, the largest in the Baltic states, serves dozens of European destinations and has seen passenger numbers recover robustly in recent years. Rail, it must be admitted, is a more pastoral affair. The network is wide but slow, and a journey from Arga to the eastern city of Daugavpils, Latvia's second largest, separated from the capital by 230 kilometers, unfolds at the pace of a conversation, the train moving through birch forests and small station platforms where passengers board unhurriedly, as if arriving anywhere too quickly would be a kind of waste. Arga's city center is best experienced on foot or by bicycle. The old town, Vekriga, is compact and medieval, its cobbled lanes between the Daugava riverbank and the Art Nouveau boulevards of the newer city perfectly navigable at a walking pace. Public transport is reliable, cheap, and used by everyone. Trams rattle through the center with a pleasantly analog quality, as if they remember an older city and are faithfully recreating it. Outside the capital, driving through the Latvian countryside is an experience of particular quietness. Long, straight roads through forest, intersections unmarked save for a small sign, farmsteads set back from the road behind apple trees. It is a landscape that makes speed feel impolite. Growing up in Latvia means growing up with an excellent education and an uncertain horizon. The country's schooling system is genuinely strong. Latvia consistently performs above European averages in mathematics and science, and its university system, anchored by the University of Latvia in Arga, founded in 1919, produces graduates of real quality. Latvian children grow up bilingual almost by default. Latvian at home and at school, Russian widely spoken in certain communities, and English absorbed from screens and streets by the time they reach their teens. But after the degree, the question arrives like weather: stay or go? Latvia has lost a significant portion of its population to emigration since joining the European Union. An estimated 300,000 people in the past 2 decades, most of them young, most of them educated. They go to Ireland, to the United Kingdom, to Germany, places where the wages are higher and the opportunities more visible. This is the smadzeņu aizplūde, the brain drain, and it is the single most discussed challenge in Latvian public life. And yet, many come back. Latvia's identity, its language, its landscape, its Johnny fires and its rye bread and its forests, these things pull. Young Latvians who spend years in London or Dublin speak of a particular homesickness that is not merely personal, but almost geographic, as if the land itself exerts a gravitational pull. Arga is revitalizing. Its creative scene is growing. Its restaurant culture is evolving. Its technology sector is beginning to offer salaries that compete with Western Europe. The challenge is making sure that pull is strong enough, and that what waits at home is worthy of the return. As the light fades over Latvia, and in winter it fades early by 3 in the afternoon, something happens to the social atmosphere. The day's purposeful solitude gives way to a different warmth. Lights come on in apartment windows. The smell of soup reaches the stairwell. Families gather around tables, not because they have scheduled it, but because the darkness asks them to. Latvians have a word, mājas siltums, which means, quite literally, the warmth of home. It is not just a temperature, it is a feeling, a quality of interior life that becomes more precious as the world outside grows cold and dark. An evening of mājas siltums might involve nothing more than a shared meal, a television program watched together, a cup of tea, a conversation that drifts between the practical and the sentimental. It is modest, deliberate, and deeply satisfying. In Arga, evenings are more various. The old town fills quietly, not raucously, with people moving between restaurants and bars, the cobblestones glistening if it has rained, the spires of St. Peter's Church silhouetted against a deep blue sky. The concert halls are active throughout the winter. The Latvian National Opera, one of the finest in the Baltic states, draws audiences who dress for the occasion and attend with genuine seriousness. In summer, the outdoor cafes along the canal bloom with life until nearly midnight, the northern sun taking hours to complete its reluctant descent. But the truest Latvian evening is quieter than any of this. It is a lamp lit against the dark, a window steamed from cooking, a family indoors together, sheltered, rooted, warm. Challenges and contradictions. Latvia's story is not without its shadows, and to tell it honestly is to name them. The population decline is the most urgent. From 2.7 million people at independence in 1991 to fewer than 1.9 million today, Latvia has lost more than a quarter of its population in 3 decades through emigration, through a below-replacement birth rate, and through the mortality crisis of the 1990s transition years. Some rural areas, particularly in Latgale, have emptied to the point of near abandonment. Schools close, train stations go unstaffed, villages return slowly to forest. This is not a distant projection, it is already happening. The Russian-speaking minority, roughly a quarter of Latvia's population, concentrated in Riga and in border cities like Daugavpils, has long occupied an uncomfortable space in the national story. Questions of citizenship, language rights, and national identity have been contested, sometimes bitterly, since independence. The war in Ukraine has sharpened these tensions as Latvia, a NATO member since 2004, has navigated the existential weight of geography, a small nation of fewer than 2 million, sharing a border with Russia, with a collective memory of 50 years of Soviet occupation that never fully receded. Income inequality between Riga and the rest of the country remains a structural problem. The capital accounts for a disproportionate share of economic activity, wages, and opportunity, while rural Latvia, particularly Latgale in the east, struggles with poverty rates and a lack of investment. The digitization of services, welcomed in many ways, has left older and more rural populations behind. And there is the matter of cultural preservation, not just of the language and the danas, but of the intangible. The knowledge of how to bake rye bread, how to read a forest, how to spend a Johnny night in a way that connects you to something larger than yourself. These things do not survive automatically. They require intention, and intention requires people who choose to stay. So why do they stay or come back, which amounts to the same thing? They stay because the forests remember them, because there is a quality of silence in a Latvian pine forest in early morning that cannot be replicated anywhere else, a stillness so complete it feels inhabited, as if the trees themselves are listening. People who have grown up inside that silence carry it with them everywhere they go, and they know that nothing else fills it. They stay because the Jismu Undeju Svetki comes around every 5 years, and 30,000 voices rise together under the sky over Measure Parks, and something happens that cannot be explained to someone who has not felt it, a sense of being part of something ancient and alive in yours. And they stay, perhaps most of all, because Latvia asks of its people a particular kind of courage, not the courage of grandeur or conquest, but the quieter courage of persistence, of tending what you have, of choosing deliberately to build a life in a place that will not reward you with spectacle, but will give you something rarer, depth, belonging, the knowledge that you are somewhere real. Latvia is not a country that declares itself. It is a country that reveals itself. Over time, in small moments, in the amber light of a June evening at Jani, in the smell of bread baking, in the long, vowel-rich unfurling of a language spoken by fewer than 2 million people on this earth. It is, for those who know it, irreplaceable. If this journey through Latvia stayed with you, if something in those forests, those songs, that quiet and extraordinary life felt worth knowing more about, then this channel is made for you. We travel to the places that don't shout, the countries that unfold slowly, that reward patience and curiosity. Every video is a portrait of a people and a place, told with care, with honesty, and with genuine love for the world's quieter corners. If that speaks to you, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next journey. There is always another country waiting, another life being lived in a way that might surprise you. We'll see you there.